Hello Fargo, Chief Dave Zibolski here. I'd like to take a few minutes to update you on the department's efforts to combat dangerous driving. For several years, the increase in dangerous driving here in Fargo and nationally has caused a multitude of public safety concerns. Those individuals or groups who continue to participate in exhibition driving, speeding, racing, and/or driving vehicles that have illegal or loud exhaust systems cause safety and quality of life issues for all of us. Please know that the police department has the same concerns as those of you in the community. We hear those concerns and we are actively doing everything we can to attempt to address them. Some of the ways in which we address them may not be as visible to you in the community as a squad stopping a car on the street. So I'd like to fill you in on some of those and ask for your assistance. During the 2023 North Dakota legislative session, the department and the city supported legislative efforts that would allow for increased speeding fines to better deter violators. As you may or may not be aware, the speeding violation fees in the state of North Dakota are extremely nominal. Even when considering the ability in some instances to double the fine, the initial fine is so nominal, doubling it is ineffective. In my opinion, speeding and dangerous driving and/or exhibition driving should have much higher penalties than the state currently allows in order to have any deterrent factor whatsoever. Several bills were debated by the legislature, however, none of these sufficiently addressed the needs in our region to more aggressively fine and hold accountable those that are involved in this type of driving behavior. Also during the 2023 session, in collaboration with the city, a local legislator, and the North Dakota Chiefs of Police Association, we proposed legislation that would create owner liability for fleeing vehicles. This was Senate Bill 2348. This bill would require the owner of a fleeing vehicle to either identify the driver or receive a non-criminal fine. And let me emphasize non-criminal fine forfeiture. Okay? As you may or may not be aware, there are a large number of vehicles that don't stop when our officers attempt to make traffic stops. Many of them are the vehicles that are involved in this type of dangerous driving or loud mufflers. For example, in 2023, the Fargo Police Department conducted 8,829 traffic stops, of which 256 vehicles fled the stop. When they flee to stop, that creates a danger for the public. It also means we don't know who the driver is. And in North Dakota, in order for us to issue any citations for the initial violation or the fleeing, we have to be able to identify the driver. This ratio equates to 1 out of every 34 traffic stops in which the operators fail to stop for our officers. The department's data further shows that the vast majority of these vehicles are not stolen. Hardly any of them are stolen. We have license plates for almost all of them with our technology. We simply have no legal mechanism to encourage owners to identify the driver once they've fled. This trend continues into 2024. Many of these are the very same vehicles that are causing the speeding and dangerous driving, and in deference to the safety of the public, our officers are not going to pursue a vehicle simply for that traffic violation, as it creates a much larger hazard for all involved. However, we need this type of legislation to give our officers the leverage in investigating vehicles that flee from us and properly holding the drivers accountable. Now, this bill did pass the Senate, but did not pass the House. Both of the bills mentioned will be pursued again by the department and the city during the 2025 legislative session. And we're hopeful that you and the community can help encourage your legislators to review this bill, take it up, ask any questions so that we can get greater support. Would certainly provide additional tools for our officers in addressing these issues. And the driver, it's really almost no harm, no foul. They have the option. They can tell us who was driving. If it was them, understandably, they probably don't want to tell us that. We'll issue them a non-criminal citation and be done. If they tell us who it is, we'll certainly conduct appropriate follow-up and make sure that we verify the driver before we take any additional action. So again, it's just having the leverage to get that information from these owners. On June 12, 2023, 1 year ago, I, along with our current city administrator, Brenda Daring, who was the former city engineer, provided an update on dangerous driving to the Fargo Commission. This PowerPoint presentation is available on our website, but outlines the work of both engineering and the police department in attempting to identify and address the issues of dangerous driving. In addition, my testimony before the Senate Transportation Committee relative to SB 2368 is also available on our website and provides a much more in-depth view as to the benefits of this bill and the negligible effects it would have on owners of vehicles. So again, we need your help to encourage legislators to take these bills up. The owner liability bill is already currently law in Wisconsin and likely other states. It is a completely valid law with a non-criminal forfeiture. It would help us a great deal. The doubling of the fines would also help us a great deal as we stop these vehicles or locate the drivers in terms of deterrence. And while we recognize that North Dakota is a very large state with different regions and different needs, we do need the ability in our area, in Fargo, with our large population and larger city, we need to have the ability to effectively address this type of dangerous driving behavior in a manner in which it gains people's attention, gains compliance, and deters those who would otherwise speed and exhibition drive in our roadways. Also in June of 2023, I submitted a grant request to the U.S. Department of Justice Community Oriented Policing Services Office, known as the COPS Office, to hire 6 additional sworn officers so that we can reestablish a traffic safety unit that would concentrate on addressing these behaviors. As you may be aware, the unit was disbanded in 2016. The department was awarded the grant in late October of 2023, which also required the support of the City Commission in funding a portion of the grant, which was approximately 2 sworn positions over a 3-year period. In January of 2024, the department started Academy number 6, in which these fixed positions were included. The training of a police officer takes minimally 8 months before they are able to be in a solo patrol position and actually have a positive effect on our staffing and operational capacity. Once Academy 6 officers complete their training later this fall, the department will actually be in a position to implement the traffic safety unit. While we'd like to have this done sooner, it simply couldn't have happened any sooner than that. The department also worked with our partners at the Department of Transportation last June 2023 to help utilize existing North Dakota Century Code, which allows for the registration of vehicles that do not fix their illegal or loud mufflers to be suspended. This requires that the violator be stopped and ticketed, and after a period of time, if they don't fix the violation and are stopped again, they may be referred to the Department of Transportation with a request to have their registration suspended. The department provided this information to all of our officers, and we've attempted to use this as much as possible. However, without additional legislative authority, specifically in terms of owner liability and increased fines or increased consequences, and a functional traffic safety unit, we found this to be nominal effect as well. In addition to all these efforts, the department continues to work with our other law enforcement partners in terms of special enforcement operations geared towards dangerous driving and loud vehicles. On June 10th of this year, I'll be presenting again to the City Commission along with our City Attorney regarding the Commission's request that we research and provide additional enforcement actions that could be taken against vehicles with loud or illegal exhaust systems and or dangerous driving. The information provided to the Commission at that June 10th meeting will provide an example from at least one other community in which they've enacted an ordinance that provides greater authority, including the towing of such vehicles as public nuisances. Again, this would require Commission consideration and possibly legislative action. Stay tuned to that June 10th, 2024 meeting for the rest of the details. In closing, I just want everyone to know that our officers are doing extraordinary work out there. They're very busy with calls for service, and within those calls, they are making time to do an extensive amount of traffic stops and enforcement. But we do have a huge gap in terms of the cars that flee from our officers, in terms of the very minimal, ineffective fine system that we are kind of stuck with. And we could certainly use that assistance to make the roadways in Fargo safer for all of us. Thank you. I'm always happy to answer your questions, and we'll see what happens after the presentation on June 10th. Have a good day.